Time now for a little V-twin thunder on Buell's new for 1999, the X1 Lightning. For those of you who saw our feature on company founder Eric Buell several weeks ago, you'll know that Buell is now offering 3 sport bikes this summer, the X1 being perhaps not the leanest, but certainly the trickiest and meanest of the Street Fighter threesome. At the heart of the X1 is a Sportster-based, air-cooled 1,203cc, 45-degree V-twin, linked to a 5-speed tranny and a belt final drive. Hanging from the redesigned frame up front, you'll find a handsome inverted Showa fork, sporting a big single disc, grabbed when asked by a Nissan caliper. Now, don't go looking out back for the rear suspension, or the muffler for that matter. Instead, you'll find a new cast aluminum swing arm out back, while the single Showa shock and the large muffler remain mounted below the engine. So how does the Lightning X1 rumble? This week we invited Scott Magnish of the Toronto Sun and Gary Davidson of Cottage Life magazine to sample this twin. And here's what they had to say after a day of storming the back roads on an X1 Lightning.
They're starting off with a 1200cc Harley V-twin power plant, which is pretty par for the course for any of Harley Davidson's products. This particular model is fuel injected, which does a couple of things for the bike. Over the carburation from last year's model, I think it runs a lot smoother. It idles better and it starts a lot easier too. It also helps, I think, with the performance a little bit. The fuel injection seems to work better, and I think it's maybe a bit of a value added for the motorcycle too. Like, we're talking about a premium motorcycle here, and fuel injection, I think, is the kind of thing you'd want to find in a bike of this caliber.
First impression was I was quite impressed. The power was nice. Had lots of power right from the start, and then it goes right up to the red line. And the shifting is quite smooth. I think it has to do with the fact that it's a belt drive, so the shifts are smooth and they're not notchy. The mirrors actually don't shake that much for a twin. Like on an idle, the mirrors shake a bit, but once you get going a bit, they're clear, and that's really key for riding a V-twin.
Actually, that's one of the nice things I think about the Buell is that the Harley shake that is famous or infamous depending on who you're talking to. It exists here, but it's not not a hindrance to the performance. It shakes just enough to let you know it's a Harley Davidson, and once you get up and go, it's pretty smooth. I think the strong suit on this motorcycle is the handling. You could have some misgivings about the Harley Davidson engine, the V-twin, in a sport bike, just because of the red line and because we're dealing with an old, liquid cool or an old air-cooled V-twin. The chassis on this motorcycle, though, is second to none. It really is, some cutting-edge, high-performance stuff, right from the wheels, the inverted forks. The rear suspension, which is pretty unique to Buell, with putting the monoshock down under the engine, really does a lot. And it's got a really tight wheelbase too. Front wheel to back wheel is short, and it gives you a lot of roll on the throttle at the right RPM, and it'll stand up for you.
A really short wheelbase. It's surprisingly short. It looks shorter than any of the top sport bikes out there. It really helps it turn. The front end steering head angle is very sharp, which might take a little bit away from higher speed stability, but if you're holding on, it's pretty good. The really good thing about it is the brakes. You look at a single disc brake with 6 piston calipers, and it actually stops really well. I think it's a 6 piston. I believe this is cast iron, and coupled with stainless steel braided brake line, it really has a good positive feel. The rear brake seems a little bit soft, like you don't really notice much braking going on, but the engine has a lot of compression, so that's also helps in the braking.
I think that Buell have to, they should win all kinds of accolades for what they've done here. They've taken like a traditional Harley Davidson motor and tied it together in this package. This frame is beyond, you know, your Harley custom frame where you know, you might cut the steering head, you know, widen the rear end for a faux hardtail swing arm. This is like all new. Somebody sat down and redesigned a frame that will work with the V-twin in a sport package, and it works amazingly. It's you know, I think one of the best handling bikes that I've been on ever. Like, it really is an impressive package. To make that work with the Harley Davidson, you know, given the shape of the V-twin, the tall, you know, the tall cylinders, I think is like a miracle of engineering almost. And they've done a fantastic job on it.